And let's make a prayer board for the year. Listen, just so you know, it's a new year, and now is the time to grow deeper in our relationship with Christ and improve how we communicate with Christ through our prayer. And this is why you having a prayer board is really, really important. Like, not just something cute or pretty or aesthetic, but something that keeps you in faith and keeps you grounded in Christ. But the book of Habakkuk 2 verse 2 says, write this vision and make it a plan. So that is what we are going to be doing with our prayer board, because listen, we need to pray more, we need to communicate with Christ more, and a prayer board is going to make that happen quickly, faster, and also interesting. So let's make a prayer board for the year. Let's go. Just in case you are confused on what a prayer board is a visual tool that helps you stay intentional in your prayer. It helps to keep your heart aligned with God's promises and also remind you of what you are praying for and let you track God's faithfulness in real time. So a prayer board is a must. Like, you must have a prayer board. First of all, you need your board. Of course, you need some gums or pins, because you need something to like stick your different envelopes to the board. You also need pen, markers, highlighters, to write. You would also need index card or sticky note where you can write each of your prayers. And lastly, you will need envelopes. Before you build your prayer, but I want you to have these things at the back of your mind. First of all, you need to pray before even making your prayer. But what I did was I fasted a day before I made my prayer. But I made my prayer board on the 1st of January. So on the 31st of December, I fasted for the new year and also for my prayer board, because I don't get to pray according to the will of God. And this is why most of the time our prayers are not answered, because what we are praying for is not what God wants. It's not in line with the will of God. So this is why you need to pray a day before you make your prayer board and ask God that, Lord, please let my prayer point, let everything that I'm going to be asking, let it be in line with what you want. Help me not to pray and miss. If you can't fast a day before making a prayer, but lovely, but at least pray a day. Or you could have like a midnight prayer where you just pray like 1 hour. I don't know, but just ensure that you pray a day before making a prayer. Like I mentioned earlier, you are going to be needing envelopes for the different categories that you are going to be praying for. I'm going to be having 6 different categories. One is an envelope specifically for my prayer points, where I'm going to be really selfish, praying only for myself, writing prayer points that I want only for myself. So one envelope is going to be for myself. I'm also going to be having another envelope for my family, where I'm going to be praying for both my nuclear and my extended family. I'm also going to be having the third envelope for my friends. Like, I don't have much friends, but the little ones that I have, they've been nice and good to me, so I'm going to pray for them. I'm going to be having a fourth envelope for my business, where I'm going to be praying for my YouTube channel and some of my other business that I've got going on. And then my 5th envelope is going to be my intercession envelope, where I'm going to be praying for the less privileged, because the fact that your life is a little bit easier, it doesn't mean that every other person's life is also easier. Like, there are a lot of children out there who are struggling, a lot of people who don't have to feed and to eat and drink. When I think about those people, like, I feel really bad for them. So I'm going to be having a separate envelope where I'm going to be praying for those people. I'm also going to be praying for the prisoners, because there are some prisoners that are in prison serving time for a case that they are completely innocent of. And when I think about that, it drives me really crazy. And this is why I'm going to be praying for prisoners that are in prison, serving time, going through torture from those different hardened criminals in a prison for something that they are innocent of. Like, they have, oh my goodness, it's so really, really painful. So I'm going to be praying for them also in my intercession envelope. Please, I beg you to please have an envelope just for intercession, because people are really struggling. Lastly, I'm going to be having the 6th envelope for my answered prayers, where I would move each prayer point from different categories into the envelope for the answered prayers. Now, envelopes, you are going to be having little paper you get to write each prayer point. For instance, now let's say one of my prayer points for my intercession envelope is to pray for those prisoners. I could write, Lord, please help those prisoners who are serving time for what they are innocent of and get them out of the prison. That is going to be in one paper. So what I meant when I said having little paper, like little paper like this, you see how small this one is? With this one, I can write each prayer point on this paper and then dip it into whatever envelope. You could use your sticky notes. I didn't want to use sticky note, because imagine putting sticky notes inside this paper. If I want to take it out, I just wasn't feeling sticky notes, so I made this ones myself. Like, I had this book that I'm not using at home, so like I cut it into these tiny shapes, and this is what I'm going to use it for my prayer. But anyways, when God answers this prayer, you can easily move it from that envelope into your envelope of your answered prayers. Because listen, we are having faith that our prayers, everything is going to be answered, and we are taking no chances. Okay, now the answered prayer is very important because it will help me track my answered prayer and also help me track God's faithfulness and God's mercy over time. Whatever categories you want to include, if you're a teacher, include a different envelope for your students that you teach in school. If you're a doctor, you could include a different envelope for your patients. Just be creative with it and have as much envelope as you can.
Hey y'all, so welcome to Voice Over Vic. So what I did was preparing my board. Yeah, this is the board we're going to be using, and then I did this thing with my little cardboard to like define the borders of the board so you can give it like a definite look. So I did that with my cardboard paper, and I did that for the four corners of the board, after which I went to start preparing my envelopes by writing the title of each category that the envelope belonged. And after that, I started decorating each envelope by giving it the title with my highlighters, and then I glued each envelope to the board. And gluing was the hardest part. Like, it was really stressful to glue it to the board, but I was successful in gluing the 6 different envelopes to the board, and I loved it. After which I went to writing my prayer points in my little paper. And you guys, for some weird reason, I was looking for a pen that was in my hands, like so. But then I went on to write my prayer points in each paper, and I dipped it into the appropriate envelope, and I was tired at the end of the day. Like, I was completely tired, but this is the final look of my prayer board. You can see each different envelope. I had the personal, family, business, intercession, friends, and then lastly my answered prayers. I also wrote different Bible verses for each category. I wrote for the personal, the family, business, intercession, friends, and lastly my answered prayers. I also wrote some little affirmations on the envelope, and I loved it. Like, this is my first prayer board, and I was in love with this thing, but I was glad that I got it done and over with.
So, and there you have it, your ultimate guide into building your prayer board for the year. Because listen, you having a prayer board is like very crucial, and it's very important in your walk with Christ. I've already built my that, but this is your sign to build your prayer board. Listen, I'm locking in with Christ this year, and I'm taking no chances, and you should not take chances. So prayer is one way that you can grow closer in your relationship with Christ. But there are also some habits that you need to inculcate in your life to grow closer to Christ, and this is exactly why I mentioned right in this video here. In this video, I talked on the different habits that you need to have as a Christian to grow closer in your relationship with Christ. So you definitely need to watch this video. But thank you very much for watching up to this moment. Like and subscribe if you want us to be besties, be better, make your board, and I'll see you in this video.